Welcome back to the shipyard. Today we are taking a look at the I.S.S. Avenger. Now, this is a ship that's been out for a few months, came out in Wave 14, May of 2015, and it's a ship that I didn't think a whole lot of when it first came out, but I've played it in the last few tournaments, and I've actually really enjoyed it, so I wanted to take some time to talk about it. Now, as the name suggests, I.S.S., Mirror Universe. And if you know Enterprise, this is the ship that was featured in a Mirror Darkly. So it's a NX class, and you get 2 attack dice, 3 agility, 3 hull, and of course no shields. And you're going, wait a minute, David. 3 agility, 3 hull, only 2 attack dice. Why the heck would you play it in a tournament? Well, stick with me, I'll get there. 16 points. It's an ideal support ship. But more than that, it's got your standard Fed action bar, evade, target lock, scan, battle station. So it's well-rounded with actions. Plus, the upgrade slots are great. Tech, weapon, crew. So that gives you everything you want to put on it. Of course, would you like another crew? Sure. Would you like another tech? Yeah, of course. Would you like another weapon? Yeah, who wouldn't? But really, if you're going to have 4 upgrade slots, this is a good thing to do. But the clincher to this ship is the named ability. During the roll attack dice step, if you have an auxiliary power token beside your ship, gain +2 attack dice when attacking with your primary weapon. Now all of a sudden, you're getting 4 attack dice. This isn't perfect. You have to have a way to get that auxiliary power token, but that's pretty easy to do. Admiral Worf, auxiliary power token. Captain Worf, the one from the Pasteur, that'll give you an auxiliary power token plus an extra attack and defense die every time you attack and defend. Doing a red maneuver. I'll take a red maneuver and I get 2 extra attack dice just because. That's not bad. You only have 3 red maneuvers on this ship, 3 hard turns and your 3 come about, but I'm okay with that. The other nice thing is that you do have a white 2 come about on the ship, and that maneuver flexibility is huge. That gives you a lot of means of getting into firing with your opponents that they might not be able to have a shot back at you. 3 hull also gives you a lot of means to cancel attacks. It gives you improved deflector screens if you start mixing. It gives you enhanced hull plating. It really gives you these tools that you need in order to be an effective damage sponge. The reason I've been running it is because Peck works really well. He's a Vulcan captain with either Varel, and I know nobody likes that, or conditional surrender. Again, nobody likes that, but Mirror has cheap crew to utilize the effect. And if you're going to take the auxiliary power token for resurrecting your crew, you might as well get more attack dice out of it. So, is it the absolute best combo in the world? No, but it's one that I found that I like. So that's why the Avenger is pretty cool right now. The generic loses a crew and a weapon slot, and it still costs 16 points, and you lose that named ability. So, my recommendation, find another ship. This is where the point cost system in this game starts to look really bad. Not a bad little swarm ship if you want to take that route, but I think you can do better for your points. We get 2 admirals in this pack. First up, we have Admiral Gardner. For a fleet action, when attacking with your primary weapon during the roll attack die step, gain +1 attack die this round. Each time you defend, roll 1 less defense die. You cannot perform free actions this round. It's okay. You better make sure you're not getting shot. Again, I don't see why you wouldn't just take target lock or battle stations and improve your die quality, but I guess if you're already doing that and you've got a fleet action and you can use a little dinky ship like a Praetus to just ping Gardner to give a bonus ship this action, then it works, but but I don't actually think that it would work that way. So Gardner gives you that extra die, but more often than not, he's just not worth it. Our other admiral is Admiral Black. For fleet action, you can perform a sensor echo action with the 1 template, even if your ship is not cloaked or does not have the sensor echo icon on its action bar. Each time you defend this round, you may reroll one of your blank results, and place an auxiliary power token beside your ship for doing this. Sensor echo is a useful skill. It's not as good as the Indy Fed fleet captain. It's not as good as Maxwell Forrest. However, for a mirror admiral, this is pretty useful. And sometimes you actually want that auxiliary power token. See the I.S.S. Avenger. There's potential here. I actually like Black more as a captain than an admiral because I'm okay only having this ability on one ship. It's decent. It's not take the world by storm, but there's a lot of times you make your move and you go, oh, I wish I was just a little further over. This can save your bacon, and Black is good for that purpose. So, again, not amazing, but situational, especially in OPs, certain mission scenarios, it could work. Our 1 captain is Soval, skill 4, 1 elite talent slot, costs you 3 points, and you do not pay faction penalties when deploying any upgrades to your ship. So he's kind of like a reliant con, and that's useful. You don't get the battle station to crit conversion, but sometimes you don't need that. Soval is going to work very nicely for bringing a lot of stuff on board, say to a Regent's flagship, and that's not a bad thing. Soval is a great captain for a shuttle when you want to just pile everything on there and then dock it, and you don't care about having a good captain. There's some options. Soval's not showing up all over the place, and I think that's okay. But he's a neat little tool to have around. So he has a place, and it really depends on your build style and what you're attempting to do with your list. Our elite talent is Sabotage, 4 points. Unique, of course. Action. Discard this card to target a ship at range 1 to 3. Target ship must disable 2 active shields if possible. If the target ship has no active shields, or if this action caused the target ship to have no active shields, place an auxiliary power token beside the ship. So, you're doing 2 things. You're making it easier to kill the ship, and if they survive, you're making it harder for them to be effective next turn. Combo it with something like Brunt on your ship, and now you are double oxing them, and you're really making life difficult on them. Are there more effective ways to stack Ox power tokens on your enemy? Yes, of course. Are there better Mirror Universe elite talents? Yes. Rebellion, Strafing Run. Enough said. But if you're looking for something a little different, if you're looking for a way to kill them faster, then Sabotage works. And I'm okay with that. So, take Sabotage for what it's worth. It is effective at killing ships and maybe putting on more auxiliary power tokens. Not a bad thing ever. We get 2 generic crew in this pack, and that's actually really nice. First up, we have Andorian Helmsman. 2 points. During the combat phase, after you complete your attack, you may discard this card to immediately perform a 1 or 2 straight or bank. If you do so, place an auxiliary power token beside your ship. No ship may have more than 1 Andorian Helmsman. So, you get to shoot, you get to move, and hopefully you get to not get shot back. And that is super duper useful. I really think that there's a fleet that can exist on this, a positional fleet. You would want to have a reasonably high captain skill to do this, something like a 6, 7, maybe even an 8. Of course, higher is better, but for 2 points, it's situational, but it's more widely useful than a lot of other situational cards. So I think Andorian Helmsman is something that can see a lot of worthwhile time. Our other crew is Orion Tactical Officer, also 2 points. If you damage an opponent's hull with a crit, you may immediately discard this card to search the damage deck for a weapons malfunction or munitions failure card instead of drawing a random damage card. Now, those are discard a secondary weapon and your primary weapon has one less attack die. Very useful for messing with things like magnetometric guided charges, dorsal phaser array, upgraded phasers, type 8 phasers, stuff like that. However, by the time you're inflicting damage to their hull, what you want are stunned helmsmans, warp core breaches, direct hits. You don't really want to just be messing with their ability to shoot you. Of course, if you're messing with like a Borg cube, then you've got a shot. So, again, situational, you'd want to know what you're up against. This is one that's going to depend what the people in your area play, and you can adapt. And if you think that it's worth the 2 points, then go ahead and take it. I don't always see it, but that's my local play area. We get 2 weapons in this pack. Photonic torpedoes are up first. 2 points, 4 dice, range 2 to 3. Spin to target lock, disable the card. Fire the weapon from your forward or rear firing arc. They're torpedoes. They work okay. The bad thing is they're photonic, not photon, so they don't get boosts from like the high yield photon torpedoes. At that point, take mirror universe photon torpedoes or quantum torpedoes, spend the extra points. It'll be worth it. For 2 points, these aren't bad, but range 2 to 3, it's okay. We also get plasma cannons, also 2 points, 3 attack dice only, but range 1 to 3. You still disable the card, but you do get forward or rear firing arcs. So I like the rear arc coverage that exists in the pack. Paying 2 points to get it is reasonable. I believe there's an upgrade that lets you get it for 1 that came on the I.S.S. Defiant, but you're not always going to have multiples of that. So this gets you range 1 to 3 for 2 points, and that's not terrible. Plasma cannons are playable. Photonic torpedoes, I'd probably leave them alone. And lastly, we have 2 tech. First up, we have enhanced hull plating. It's very similar to the one that came on the Federation Enterprise NX. During the roll defense dice step of the combat phase, if your ship is not cloaked and you have no active shields, you may add up to 2 evade results. If you do so, place 1 auxiliary power token for each evade you take. It can only be purchased for a Mirror Universe ship with a hull value of 4 or less. You can only have 1, and you can only use it once per round. So, it's okay. You just have to shoot the ship multiple times to get through it. You're going to have a whole bunch of auxiliary power tokens. Don't plan on ever doing a red maneuver or an action. So you can build accordingly, and you have a ship that's pretty tough to kill, and that's reasonable. Look into that. We also have emergency bulkheads, 4 points, action, disable this card to flip all critical damage cards assigned to your ship face down. If your ship is not cloaked and you have no active shields, each time you defend this round, roll +1 defense die. I don't like it for the Avenger at all, but I love it for the Regent's flagship, because that ship has 7 hull and only like 3 shields or 2 shields, some ridiculously small number. So that's a ship that starts taking critical damage. And to be able to get a little bit of extra defense and to get rid of some of those crits, it's pretty dang good. So be careful where you put this upgrade. But if you pick your spots correctly, then this works out. And it's actually not a bad card. I'd like it a whole lot more if it was a 2-point upgrade or maybe a 3-point upgrade. At 4, it feels really, really expensive. But ultimately, it's a decent card that does a decent effect, and it might save you from some really bad criticals. So overall, the Avenger. Don't underestimate it just because it's tiny. Don't underestimate it because it's 16 points. There are some pretty cool things you can do with it. Yes, a lot of them are cross-faction, but Captain Worf from the Pasture, really awesome captain for it in Ship Pure. Admiral Worf from the Regent's flagship. No, you can't run them both, but put him on another ship and give the Avenger an action to fire every round in the activation phase. That's huge. There's some cool things you can do with the Avenger, and you can swarm mirror pretty well, and I think it would work out. I've played around with Mirror. I know Steven Van Deventer took Mirror to Worlds and got into top 8 with it, and he loved it. This is a ship you want to play around with for Mirror, and there's some decent cards. It's not as good as the Defiant. It's not even as good as the Regent's flagship. It may or may not be on the level of the ISS Enterprise, but I think it's right up there. I think it's in that talk level where you're going, okay, there's some interesting things. I like what it can do. I like that there's generic crew members. And there's some interesting effects. Soval and Admiral Black are good cards. So if you haven't picked up one of these, check it out. Put it on your consideration list. Think about it. Because I think it's one that is useful and it gives you some tricks to play around with. It's definitely one that's not just going to sit in a box and collect dust. It may not work for every single person, but I've enjoyed it and I've found ways to make it work. So those are my thoughts on the I.S.S. Avenger. Let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to tell me if you agree or disagree. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care.